Our next presenter is Tiago Martins. He's a 30-year-old entrepreneur and software developer from Portugal. He likes long walks on the beach and... Wait, oh, I'm sorry, that was your dating profile. He's also an author writing a new book about the one-person startup revolution. And after graduating in computer science in 2012, Tiago realized that the way people were learning to code was boring and unpractical. So he created a startup with a vision to be one of the leading online programming schools. After some initial success, his dream shattered in a pile of fuck-ups. So let me hear it for Tiago.
Hello, everyone. So I'm Tiago. I'm 30 years old, as Michael very politely said, and I'm from Portugal, and I'm here in Bali with you, amazing people. So thank you so much for coming. So how do I start? So this guy was me a while back ago. And this was me starting university. I had the emotional intelligence of an 8-year-old. I was spending all my parents' money on alcohol. I failed a couple of years, and I had no ambition whatsoever apart from chasing women on a club. So that was me. Money $0, girlfriends many, and health absolutely drunk most of the time. So, and my question to you is, how come this fuck-up guy got in 4 years to this? Actually, 5 years, sorry. I was the CEO and founder of one of the most innovative startups in the education space. I was teaching to over 100,000 people from 100+ countries. I had the love of my life next to me. I had an amazing relationship with my friends. And yeah, I went to the gym every day for almost all year and almost didn't drink alcohol. So I was at the top of my game. And how the fuck did I came crashing down 4 years later? This is me on a boat in Amsterdam. For some reason, I have a trophy next to me and a bottle. So yeah. So I crashed down into this guy with, again, no money, lost the love of my life, and health severely drunk again every single day. So what the fuck happened? I seriously felt like this guy. So, jokes apart, this talk actually has been one of the most toughest things I ever had to do in my entire life. And I'm very, very honest about this because I had to be brutally honest about myself, what I did wrong, what I did right, and which path I wanted to take forward. So, yeah, so I thank you for giving me the opportunity to... So let's start with my fuck-up story. So I actually did a diagram of a ladder, and this was me back in 2013, a year after I left college. I left college, I did computer science, and I was so frustrated with the way the education world was going forward. So I spent like 4 years in college learning how to code, but it was so fucking boring. No one was actually committed to anything. The developers were basically going into the system of the university spitting out to the enterprise. So no creativity whatsoever. People were not learning in a good way, and I had the real pain that I wanted to solve. And this was my first idea for my startup. So I was in Brazil back then working in a construction company, so nothing to do what I did. And I arrived in Portugal on the first week of January, and I said, okay, I want to do something. So I went to this weird event about entrepreneurship, and that's how I met my co-founder, my first co-founder, Enrique. And we went onto this journey of actually, okay, how can we change the way people learn? And both me and Enrique were actually musicians, so we didn't start with coding. We created a company called Songvice, and we were the first marketplace on music advice. So basically connecting people that wanted to learn music to people that already knew music. We were extremely successful with this. We were 3 co-founders by the time. We got accepted into one of the biggest accelerators in Europe called Rockstart in Amsterdam. That's that picture. We raised our first angel investment, 20,000 euros, I think. Actually, it says dollars. And we spent the 3 months in Amsterdam just building our product. The problem is, having investment does not mean revenue. And to be honest, in 3 months, after burning through 20,000 euros, we made $100 in revenue. So that was a shitty idea. And that's when I was very good at raising capital. I was extremely good at convincing investors to give me money. So that was a nice thing. So I raised a little bit more money, and I convinced my investors, let me go to San Francisco, look for inspiration. I know we can do it. We have the right team. We have the right resources. We're fucking smart. Believe in us. And they did. I raised 50K. I went to San Francisco for a year. And one day, I was on my Uber on my way home. And I asked the Uber driver, why were you Ubering? And the guy said, I want to pay my coding school. Your coding school? Yeah, they're fucking expensive. Like, they cost like 17,000 for 3 months. Okay, so that's an idea. We were making almost no revenue. We were running out of cash again. So I said, okay, let's try something else. And that's how Codeplace was born. Codeplace teach people how to code by building real projects. So build your own marketplace, build your own Facebook, whatever. And we did a very, very small minimum viable product, so a landing page saying, learn how to code by building your own Facebook. We launched it. 2 days after, we did $1,500 in revenue. And said, okay, we have something here, so let's go and build a product. Came back to Portugal.
Sorry.
Okay?
As long as attacking it, I can just see water everywhere.
This massive
Oh shit!
thing just landed on
Whoa!
my face.
It's the great Mantis! Get after it! Okay, just
You saw them on my eye, right?
So that's my co-star on the floor. And yeah, so we built the product in Portugal, and we launched it 2 weeks after, and we made $100,000 in the first month. So we had something there. And after 2,000 customers or so, we raised finally around $1 million in fundraising. But the problem is, I took a long time doing this fundraising. We had a lot of customers. Our customers were absolutely happy with our product. We were having the times with our life. Sorry. But we took too long fundraising. So basically, we took 6 months. I went to 75 meetings. I only got 2 yeses. We raised the money. And then what happened? Everything fucking fell apart after 6 months. So I don't know if you know the coding space. There's a lot of competitors. Code Academy, Code School, Udemy, whatsoever. You can learn how to code pretty easily nowadays. And while I was busy fundraising, although we were the first people to actually go into this path of teaching people how to code using real projects, everyone just copied us during that time. So we were not growing. Our team was getting frustrated. Our investors were really pressuring me like hell. I started blaming on everyone else. So if we're not growing, it's probably the growth guy that's the problem. So I fired him. The product's not good, so it's probably the CTO that's the problem. So again, I fired him. I blame my co-founders, I blame my investors, and nothing worked. So I was, and that's the fuck up, I was almost obliged to sell my company earlier this year, in 2017. And yeah, that's me. In the beginning of the year, completely depressed, didn't know where to go, and lost the love of my life. Lost a lot of my friends because while I was busy building this product, I just didn't care. I was working 18-hour days for the past 4 years, so yeah, completely depressed. And on this time, I was thinking, what the fuck happened, as the chicken and the guy said. And very, very, very simply put, I stopped believing in my own vision. So I had this enormous vision when I left college that I wanted to change the way people learn. And I was so committed and I was so ambitious about it that investors invested a lot of time and money in it. My team believed me. My 100,000 customers believed in me, and I failed them. I didn't believe it hard enough. But I said, fuck this shit. World, fuck you, I'm gonna make it. And I did, fuck you. So after months of drooling over papers and thinking about what I'm going to do next, I picked up my phone and I motherfucking started dialing. There was a technology that I developed during the Codeplace days, which helped basically make the consumer buying behavior more impulsive in e-commerce stores. And I decided to put it to the test. So I showed up in a dealership, and this makes sense because I wanted to try it out on the auto industry. And I pitched that idea, and that was my first customer. And with my tech, I helped them sell $800,000 in 7 days. So it worked, and they referred me to their customers. And I've been doing consulting since May, and it's all going very well. And from those consulting clients, I got the idea for my next company, which it's called Pipe Desk. I'm not allowed to plug it, but it's freaking awesome. So if you guys want to ask after, I'll tell you about it. And that's when I decided to go to Bali, just to work on my project, finish the app, and in the meantime, I fell in love with this place. The people, the locals, my new friends, and I'm officially moving here in November, so that's fucking awesome. So what are the lessons learned from my thing? Never, ever, ever let anyone tell you that your vision is wrong. Think about something that you want to do a year from now. Don't do 5 years, just do 1 year. Write it down, and write down the core values that you stand next to it. And stick it to no matter what. The second thing I learned is stop fucking procrastinating. You will eventually die, and you'll have no time to procrastinate anymore. And the last thing, and this is, I really, really, truly believe in this. Like, I was very criticized for working 18-hour days, but I don't regret that part. Find something you really love to work with, and just fucking work your ass off. Because if you're not working your ass off on the thing that you love, someone else is, and you're gonna lose. I'm an animal in that sense. I'm not the 4-hour work week guy. I believe in something and I go for it. So if you really believe in a product or a service or whatever, just go for it. But the biggest lesson I've learned, and this is my closing slide. If you haven't found the love of your life yet, don't stop searching for it. And I lost the love of my life, and I'm not gonna fucking let that happen again, because that's the thing that gives meaning to every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Tiago.